What's up, everybody? Welcome to Philly with John Marks on PHLY. Good Monday morning to everybody out there watching live every Monday through Friday on YouTube, 8 to 9 a.m. That's right. Right here, Philly with John Marks. Shout out to all of our 8 a.m.ers, all of our live chatters. Watch the show live, get involved in the conversation. We're creating a community here on Philly with John Marks. If you can't watch the show live, well, of course, that's okay. You can watch it whenever you want to. Just get to YouTube, like and subscribe, comment on the episode. It is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Hey, listen, in like 20 years, when I'm hopefully still alive, you'll be able to watch this show because it lives forever on YouTube, I guess, right? The Vine, remember Vine? I had a Vine of Mark Sanchez one time singing karaoke to Backstreet Boys. Someone was videotaping it, and he swiped the phone from the guy and wouldn't give it back, and then finally gave it back. So that guy sent it to me, and I put it on Vine. I don't know how many million views on Vine, but then Vine went away. Anyway, what am I talking about? Phillies win 2 of 3. Today's show brought to you by, as always, BetParx. Get to the BetParx app right now. We're in the home studio today. Tyler Zulli is here. He'll be along shortly. Phillies win 2 of 3 over the Diamondbacks. And the reality is I went into the weekend. I remember saying on Friday, I don't know how I feel about this series. Phillies aren't playing particularly well. The Diamondbacks were the Phillies' kryptonite. Like, I'm still spooked from the NLCS a couple years ago. But Phillies, they won 2 of 3. They look good. Yesterday, I had kind of written off. Once you go down 7-2 early in the 4th inning and you win the first 2 games of a series, it's like, okay, well, they got their 2 of 3. They got their series win. Let's go. They have a day off today. But they didn't. They battled back. They tied it, which I was shocked. And then Alvarado had to go more than an inning, and it kind of blew up in his face in that second inning he was out there. And then, Carlos Hernandez. Have I seen enough of this guy coming in with inherited runners? You might as well just say, hey, Carlos Hernandez is coming up. Anybody on base is going to score. But Phils win 2 of 3. I'm happy with the weekend. Bryce Harper, Thompson moved the lineup around a little bit, had Harper hitting second yesterday. He, of course, responded with a home run immediately. But the bats got going a little bit this weekend. It was a really good win on Saturday. Overall, really, really happy with the weekend. Now, yesterday, Ranger Suarez made his season debut. Didn't even get out of the 4th inning. 7 hits, 7 runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, 3 2/3. Now, I saw a lot of people. Now, I try to take this for what it's worth. I don't talk to a lot of people these days. The people that I talk to, like Mike Gage, used to be the bus stop and then the grocery store. But I don't do the bus stop anymore because I'm working in the morning. So it's the grocery store. And at the grocery store, you don't get the really negative opinions like fire Topper or, oh, Bohm sucks. Trade him right now. You get people that don't necessarily like Bohm, but you know what I mean. So I saw a lot yesterday on social media with Ranger Suarez should be in the bullpen. He's not good. What are they doing? All of a sudden, Taijuan Walker is the right-handed Cy Young of the Philadelphia Phillies. So with Taijuan Walker, Tyler and I were all over this. I want to say like a month ago, we were talking about this, and we had said at the time it makes the most sense for this team as far as like what's the best roster you can put out there. Ranger Suarez in a bullpen that struggles based on the depth of the Phillies starting pitching and the way Taijuan Walker was pitching made a lot of sense. And I think it's fairly easy to make the argument that the team's better with Ranger Suarez coming out of the bullpen, right? So we were talking about this weeks ago. We also reached the conclusion about a week ago that it ain't going to happen, whether or not we want it to happen. And this could develop towards the end of the season or in the playoffs, certainly. But the reality is Ranger Suarez was signed by this organization as an international free agent. He's come up with this organization. He's developed into an all-star level pitcher, and his agent is Scott Boras, and this is his free agent season after this season. He was not going into the bullpen. Scott Boras would raise holy hell if they put him in the bullpen in his walk year. He wasn't going into the bullpen. It probably wasn't realistic at this point to think that they were going to put him in the bullpen, other than they were just telling him, you're going into the bullpen. We don't really care what you think or what you say. So realistically, it wasn't going to happen. It doesn't mean that it can't happen in the future based on this team's needs. But from the onset of his return, he goes back into the rotation. I also didn't think he pitched all that poorly yesterday. They weren't rocketing the ball all over the place. I didn't look at exit velos or anything like that. I'm just talking about from watching the game. Like, there were some hard hit balls, but for the most part, they weren't smoking the hell out of him. He got a lot of swings and misses. He got his strikeouts. I just think his overall command wasn't great. And the right-handed hitters of Arizona took full advantage of it. He was leaving a lot of stuff in the middle of the plate, but when you're a left-handed starter, the righties that you're facing need to make you pay for being a lefty. And the Diamondbacks did that yesterday. So, like, what I'm overall trying to say is that I'm not doing we were saying Taijuan Walker should be in the rotation. Ranger Suarez is overrated. He should be in the bullpen right now. I've moved on from that. That was so like 3 weeks ago. All right. Something to monitor going forward, because Taijuan Walker does go to the bullpen, and I don't particularly think he's going to be effective in the bullpen. He just doesn't have that kind of stuff. As a 4 or 5 inning starter, yeah, that's more like him. So once we get going, I'm sure I think Ranger's going to be fine. I really do. I thought he was fine yesterday. But, like, once the playoffs come, yes, as Fred puts up there, he will not be a starter in the playoffs because he doesn't have the best stuff to be a starter in the playoffs. And then what happens when Andrew Painter comes up? The Phillies have already said that they don't view him as a reliever this year. Now, that can change. But Luzardo has better stuff than Ranger. And honestly, like, especially the way things work in the playoffs, we remember this. Getting 4 innings out of a starter in the playoffs can be really challenging sometimes. A good starter. And Aaron Nola, if he is the 4th starter in the playoffs. So it's great to have a guy like Ranger Suarez that can come in and give you 2 or 3 innings. And he has stones too, Ranger Suarez. So I'm not going to make a big deal out of that performance yesterday. I thought he was fine. And the Diamondbacks are a good offensive team. Corbin Carroll, I hate this guy. And it goes back. It's more than just what happened 2 seasons ago. He is so annoying. He's a good player. He's a really good player. He's a Phillies type player. But Corbin Carroll is really, really annoying. Bryce Harper, it's good to get him going. I am not worried about Bryce Harper in the least. He's been hitting the ball hard. I don't believe he looks disinterested or anything like that. I heard Scott Fransky make some comments about how, like, the talk of the town or some talk in the town is that he's disinterested right now. Bryce Harper, he looks disinterested. And he said that's not further, like, anybody in the organization, from the players or whoever else, nobody thinks that. I know Scott listens to WIP, or he used to listen to me when he was driving into the ballpark. So he's probably hearing a lot of talk radio. I am not worried about Bryce Harper in the least. I don't believe Bryce Harper is disinterested. When you struggle in anything, when I have bad shows here, I'm not necessarily fun the rest of the day. You think about that kind of stuff. It changes your mood. And then when you get the good game or you get the good show, it loosens you up a little bit. It makes you happier. Bryce Harper is baseball, man. That's like saying Chase Utley is disinterested in baseball. No, like, Bryce right now is just going through some struggles. He's finagling with his stance. He's finagling with his swing. He hit an opposite field home run yesterday, which is really, really good to see him go the other way, because that's what he needs to do. I am not worried about Bryce Harper. And the comment right there, Tyler, is exactly right. He has a hate to face because I want him on the team. Fred's right. If I like the Mets booing Chase Utley, it's because Mets fans booing Chase Utley is because Mets fans wanted Chase Utley to be a Met. Absolutely. I hate Corbin Carroll a lot. I'll say that. So, like, all in all, good weekend for the Phils. Weston Wilson looked good yesterday, so you have a right-handed bat in the outfield. Brandon Marsh is back. Clearly not going to be the starter. It's going to be a platoon situation. So a good weekend. A good weekend for the Phils. This portion of the show brought to you by BetParx. So the BetParx app get on over there. And by Glatt Hair Restoration, glatthairmm.com, 610-980-4000, 610-980-4000. As we welcome in, so we have a younger Phillies prospect that is having a monster season in AAA. And oh, by the way, he just happens to be playing a position that a lot of Phillies fans would like to see this guy replaced. More on that in a second, but let's bring in Tyler Zulli of PHLY Phillies. He's got a live show coming up today. Tyler, good morning. Your thoughts on the weekend, sir?
Yeah, good morning to you as well. I thought it was a good series. I think, unfortunate to see Ranger kind of fall apart the way that he did, because I said in my wrap-up, like, 7 was his number yesterday. He retired the first 7. He ended up giving up 7 hits. He gave up 7 runs. It felt to me like he faltered and fatigued really, really quickly. Like the first 40 pitches were excellent. They were vintage Ranger Suarez, mixing in speeds, changing speeds, throwing a lot of strikes, getting hitters off balance. And all of a sudden it was like a bloop here and a bloop there. And you brought it up too. It wasn't a ton of hard hit contact in the beginning when he was starting to give up runs. I posted, I think, maybe after the second run had scored or the third run had scored, that even though he had given up 3, there were 3 balls that got hit, or 6 balls that got hit under 90 miles an hour in those 2 innings, and 3 of them were hits. Like, to me, that doesn't like constitute hard contact. That just constitutes, like, the one was 68 miles an hour. The one that Tawa, it was 68 miles an hour. Like, it's hard. Sometimes you just get bad luck. But I think it spiraled for him a little bit pretty quickly. But overall, good series, right? It's a team. We talked about it on Friday. It's a Diamondbacks team, much like the Cubs that you faced last weekend, who are no strangers to scoring runs. I think they came into the game, the series, averaging like 5.4 or something like that. Oh, yeah. They were 4th in baseball in runs scored. I think the Cubs and the Yankees and one other team were better. So you did a really good job for most of the series of holding this. Now you're gonna look at it and say, well, they gave up what, like 17 runs or something like that over 3 games, which is a large number, but 11 of them came yesterday. You did a really good job in the first 2 games of limiting the damage, especially with Aaron Nola was excellent again. That's back-to-back really good starts for him. And then it was Jesus Luzardo, right, on
Saturday. Yep.
Saturday. And he didn't have his best stuff. He was decent, but he battled.
Was it Nola on Saturday?
No, yeah, sorry. It was Luzardo on Friday, Nola on Saturday.
Yeah, my bad.
But Luzardo didn't have his best stuff, but he battled and gave you some quality innings, as he's done all year long. And his ERA rose to like 1.9. So it tells you how good he's been all year. I think collectively it was a really good series for the Phillies. They did what they needed to do. They've now stacked 3 series in a row, and they've done it against the Diamondbacks, who could be a playoff team, the Cubs, who could be a playoff team, and then the Nationals, who are, not a playoff team right now, but they're a scrappy bunch enough offensively where you got to win those series, because we'd be frustrated if they didn't. So they're 6-3 in their last 9. They've won 3 straight series. I'm not going to complain right now.
No, not at all. Yeah, we're still in May. They're getting some wins. So weren't they 500 at one point? And, like me, I was getting a little grumpy with it. Sure. But yeah, so they won the last 2 series. Day off today, Tampa, which is they're an under 500 team. So you're hoping for a series win right there. But yeah, like you're starting to see, Bryce was a little bit cold, but I think that was a lot of, he's kind of in his head a little bit right now because he's still been hitting the ball hard. And like the rest of the lineup is kind of coming around. Couple other things right here. I think it is fair to mention, Tyler, about Taijuan Walker and what he did as a starter. Because as much as I was dismissive of leaving Taijuan Walker in the rotation, just because it felt unrealistic as we got closer to Ranger returning for all the reasons we mentioned. Taijuan Walker in 6 starts did have a 2.54 ERA, and he wasn't dazzling. He didn't take you deep in the games, but I mean, here's the reason why you don't get rid of Taijuan Walker. Just release him, designate him for assignment, get him out of here. He gave you 6 really quality starts this year, and they needed it too. So the odds are they're going to need it again. So unless they can trade him and get something for him, because the Phillies actually have Mick Abel, who was their first-round draft pick a couple of years ago. He had another good start yesterday. So his ERA is down in the 2s. So he potentially could come up. I would like to see him kind of stay the year in AAA and rather than bringing him up and losing confidence. But I guess the point is, if the Phillies starting rotation is the strength of the team, you have 6 bona fide starters, which is not a lot of teams can say that they have 6. There's 6 starter as a 2.54 ERA right now. So yeah, like Taijuan Walker, thank God they didn't get rid of him and they didn't trade him for a bucket of balls or something like that. They needed him to start the season.
Listen, we talked a lot of crap on Taijuan Walker collectively as a city this offseason. And then, even going back to the year prior with the Diamondback series where, people were frustrated with him complaining about why didn't I pitch? Well, you didn't pitch because you didn't pitch very well in the season. And you followed that up with an injury season and then a 7 ERA. So we were all pretty collectively frustrated. And I think rightfully so. It's not like we were dogging on a guy who was pitching okay, but he was terrible last year. But this guy took everything in stride. I mean, it's got to be difficult. You brought up the issue, like if you have a bad show, right, you're kind of grumpy the next day or that following that day. It's got to be difficult to hear all that, right? Because he heard it and he brought it up. He said he heard it. His mom heard it, right? Like she was in tears when he had that first good start against the Rockies. Like this is a guy who was a true professional. And that was the one thing I always give him credit for. And I go back to that start that he made last year where he was pitching like crap. And the Phillies had a bunch of games in a row where they needed the bullpen was taxed beyond belief. And he went to Rob Thompson and said, hey, man, I know I'm not pitching well, but keep giving me the ball. Like, I'll keep throwing innings. I know you need it. He's been nothing but a consummate professional, and I give him a ton of respect for that. This year, he's been excellent. And you brought up, he's not going deep in games. I think he's averaging under 5 innings per start. And that probably played into the fact that he only made the start against the Cubs. He only went 2 innings. But, he had 2 bad innings in 6 starts. He had the blow-up inning against the Giants, and he had that second inning against the Cubs, which he gave up a couple of runs and threw 30-some-odd pitches, and they yanked him. But, he had 2 bad innings over the course of, I don't know what he pitched, maybe 30, 31, 32, something like that. I can't say enough good things about how Taijuan Walker has pitched this year. I give the guy a lot of credit, and you're right about the depth because we talked earlier in the offseason about the Dodgers and how they have 9 guys who could be starters this year. And, once Shohei Ohtani comes back, Ohtani's not ready to pitch yet, and 4 of them have been injured. Depth gets tested throughout the year. And to have a guy like Taijuan Walker pitch the way that he did has been, I can't say enough good things about the way that this guy's going about his business this year.
28.1 innings pitched.
Yep,
6 starts. So you're right. So it's under 5 innings to start. But who cares? They were honestly, I'll criticize Rob Thompson all day when I think he's managed Taijuan Walker very well.
Sure.
He's known when to get him out. He pretty much after 4 innings, he has the bullpen going so they can get him out of there before 5 innings if he starts to blow up a little bit. But listen, 22 strikeouts in 28 innings, little too many walks, but that's kind of what he needs to do to kind of get through these innings. He's nibbling a lot of times. So all in all, good series. And just one more thing on Carlos Hernandez. He came in yesterday. He's hitting players. He's throwing balls right down the middle. There's a reason why he was available. Why he was designated for assignment by Kansas City. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's the first guy that's gone when they have a roster spot. Now he kept his job because Jose Ruiz had some type of a neck injury, and he went on the IL. So what else did we have? And Tyler, any other takeaways from the weekend before we move on to Otto Kemp coming up next segment? I guess that was it. No, Aaron Nola pitched excellent again. So if I'm the one that's gonna tweak people with Aaron Nola, I have to be the one to sit here and say he was excellent again. Very, very good start on Saturday.
Yeah, the one thing that I think John Kruk brought up in the broadcast was Aaron Nola's success comes from when he throws strike one and when he throws a lot of strikes. And we've talked about that plenty. He hasn't done that enough this year. He's at a career low in first pitch strikes. It's rising over the last 2 starts, which is great. But he's at a career low in first pitch strikes. And I think he was really struggling because he was falling behind in so many counts. The last 2 starts, he's been much better at getting ahead and staying ahead. And that's when he's able to use the knuckle curve that falls through the zone. He's able to use, and I thought the 2-seamer in this weekend's game, he threw one that was on Gerardo Perdomo's hands that he had to do the Pat Burrell, arms up, and
it caught the corner.
Yeah. And he ended up running it right back over the heart of the plate. It was a great pitch. That when that 2-seamer's working and he can balance that off of the knuckle curve, I think that's when Nola's at his best. It's 2 good starts in a row. I thought he was really good.
I love the Pat Burrell shift the feet back because it's coming inside. Strike two. Call strike two.
Run the running two seam or the sinker right back on your hands.
It's awesome. Oh, so JT's also heating up too. He had 6 hits in his last 4 games, 2 home runs. Was good again yesterday. Yeah, so of course let JT get hot, and then it's like you got to sign him too. You need to resign him before Schwarber. All right, just calm down. And I saw a lot of
resign Real Muto anyway, just because you don't have any other options.
It's not, and Marchand's unless you're going to sign a veteran guy,
right.
And Eduardo Tait, who is one of their top prospects, he's in single A.
Yep,
he's not even 19 years old yet. So I saw one of the Phillies accounts, one of the Phillies Twitter accounts was like, oh, he's 2 years away. Dude, if you think he's going to be a starting catcher at 20, turning 21, everybody just calm down. I know they're good prospects. Do you have any prospects in single A? And believe me, I think Tait is a major leaguer and has an impact bat. Everybody just calm down. We're not going to have a 20-year-old starting behind the plate in 2 years. You're going to need to Tyler's point, you're going to need him unless you're going out and you're filling a stopgap. Is Alfaro available to sign next year? We can go full circle.
Well, if you're doing that, you're talking about guys like the Jacob Stallings of the world, the Kyle Higashiokas of the world. Like at that point, I'd rather just overpay on a 2-year deal to JT Realmuto, because at least defensively, you know what you're getting out of the guy. I mean, he's still an elite defensive catcher, and as you said, he's hitting well this week, and he struggled this year at the plate at times. He was 220, throughout most of the season, but I think your immediate option is not available. And you're right. You and I both gush about Tait. I think the kid can hit, and I think he's going to be able to hit at the major league level. My 2 questions are when, because I think it's probably closer to 4 years as opposed to 2 years. And my second question is he an everyday defensive catcher? I don't know that answer yet. And I know he's the bat's going to translate. I really, truly do believe that. He is good bat to ball skills. He's getting better as he goes through the ranks. He's literally just a kid, and he's hitting professional pitching.
He's got to learn to be a catcher.
For sure.
It's more than just catching the ball. He's got to call games. I mean, he needs you're right. He needs development in that area before they move him off. And we'll see. Long time with that. One last thing here. I saw somebody put out 4 for 180 for Kyle Schwarber in free agency, which due to his age, that seems like a lot of years. $45 million a year, 3 for 135. What do you think?
I think it's funny. We've talked about this before. I think Dombrowski has done the job that he does is he'll go more years to keep the AAV down. And I think the Phillies are running into a spot now where I think Dombrowski may almost start to flip that and go more less AAV years. To go less years. And so I wouldn't be shocked if he overpays per year because of all the cap flexibility that they've got coming off the books in the next 2 seasons. I wouldn't be shocked if he goes more per year as opposed to longer term in terms of years because of the relative age of these guys. Schwarber, Realmuto, Castellanos is he's got 1 more year after this one. Like, I think you could see an inverse where he starts to pay guys more money and less years compared to less money and more years.
Yeah, I would love to do a 2-year with Schwarber, like 2. All right, like we'll give you 90 for 2 years. He's not going to take a 2-year contract based on his production.
He gets to hit.
You're going to be lucky to get 3, and you're probably getting 4. To your point, I'd rather do 3 for 45 a year than do 4 for 40 a year, or for 5 years for 40 a year, like a $200 million. But I will say this: what does Dombrowski care? It's really ownership at this point that's going to say like, hey, I don't know if we need to do anything like that in the future, because then you're really going to screw yourself. So.
Yeah, I mean, they've been tied up against the luxury tax now for 3 years, and they've pushed that boundary all 3 years. And I think that this offseason, between like Schwarber's contract coming off the books for Muto's, and so if you re-sign those guys, the cash flow comes right back in. But I think that they have a little bit of financial flexibility for the first time in a couple of years to potentially make these type of free signings.
All right. Well, listen, coming up, everybody wants Alec Bohm out of town, even as he hit a game-tying single yesterday, kind of off the hands. Wasn't a hard-hit ball. But anyway, there's a prospect at AAA named Otto Kemp, and he's got just a mustache, who is tearing the cover off of the ball. We'll discuss that and more right after this. And by the way, I guess we have to talk about, I prefer the Delaware dumper We miss an opportunity for a better alliteration, Delaware dumper than Delaware pooper. But I guess we have to discuss Philly. John Marks, don't you go anywhere. Back at 2-2. All right, listen, Empire today has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every day. They're not doubling like, oh, well, when I'm not in the flooring department, I'm in plumbing. Or, hey, would you like a dishwasher after you buy your floor? No. So, Empire Day is your best bet for a new floor. They live and breathe flooring, and they're with you every step of the way. They don't just sell you the material and say, all right, see ya. No. They're with you. They bring the showroom right to your home. You're picking the right flooring and the right colors for your space. Just telling you, it looks a lot different in your home as opposed to going to the showroom and saying, like, I think that would look good, but what does it look like with the color of our living room, the paint in the living room? What does it look like with our furniture, right? They bring it right to you. You get precise measurements, and you have all your questions answered, so there are no surprises. Clear upfront and all-inclusive pricing. Plus, you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. Why wait? And right now, all PHLY customers can receive a $350 discount. Just use the promo code PHLY. That's PHLY. Check it out. Save $350. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/PHLY for full details. empiretoday.com/PHLY. Hoo-ah. All right. Philadelphia baseball, pro golf, pro hoops playoffs, and hockey playoffs right now. Live bet and wager and watch baseball. Pro golf tour. Man, the playoffs in the NBA has been unbelievable. We had some game sevens in hockey. Live betting is better. Bet individual player performances in baseball, like player hits, home runs, RBI, strikeouts, and more. That's right. The BetParx online sportsbook and online casino app has you covered. So we're talking about betting sports. The only place I would recommend. How about this? Live dealer table games like blackjack, roulette, craps, poker, and slots. Hot online slots. Your favorite classic casino games from wherever you are. And new users right now up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. Go to betparx.com. Download the app right now. Enjoy all the action and excitement from the casino at your fingertips. You must be 21. And then PA, New Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan for BetParx. You love to play. You play to win. You bet BetParx. Gambling problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Hoo-ah. All right, there you go. We are back. So I am this program, as much as I like to talk about offbeat stuff, I love baseball. I love the Eagles. Love minor league baseball. The Sixers are killing me right now. And if the Flyers are good, then we'll talk about the Flyers. But really, I feel like we can talk about anything on this show. But like in particular, minor league baseball is something that I follow, at least for the Phillies, very closely. So I've had my eyes on this player, Phillies prospect Otto Kemp, for a couple of years. He's 25 years old. He's going to be 26 before the end of the season. He turns 26 in September. So we were just talking about Eduardo Taiit, who's 18, or Aiden Miller, their top prospect, who's 20, right? Like these are younger players that need time to develop. So I understand fans want the players to come up because they see like, oh, it's the number one prospect. He should be starting at third base, right? Like how many times have we heard Aiden Miller's the starter at third base before the end of the season, which is just silly to even say. But this is legit. Otto Kemp is almost 26. He was a college player that because of COVID and injuries, he wasn't drafted. But the Phillies signed him. And back, I don't know how many years ago they changed the draft. He would have been drafted. They just, I think, only have 10 rounds in the draft now. So it's not like he wouldn't have been drafted. He just would have been drafted further down the line. So the Phillies signed him. And last year and this year in particular, he's been really, really good, and he's opened up a lot of eyes. So I don't want to call him a utility player per se, even though he plays all over the place. He can play some left field, third base, shortstop, second base. His best position, according to the organization, Preston Mattingly in particular, who said this on the record, was third base. There happens to be a player at third base that still doesn't have a home run in 2025 and is batting 228, I believe. So we have something from yesterday's game. Otto Kemp on the season is now batting 350 with 10 home runs, 35 RBIs, 5 stolen bases, 14 doubles, 1 triple, and this is in 128 at bats. This is unbelievable. So here he is, Otto Kemp yesterday going deep. I don't even know if we're playing it right now. All right, you can load this up.
The go-ahead double for Lehigh Valley Friday. He skies this ball way out to left field. Pinckney runs out of room immediately, and Kemp is homered, leading off the ball game. Man,
there you go.
Tortured the Red Wings this series.
So he's batting leadoff. I mean, I think a lot like Stott. He looks like he could be a leadoff hitter. He's a right-handed hitter, and he does a little bit of everything. He does, and his bat has always been what's carried him. When you go back and you look at what he's done in the minor leagues, he hasn't had a season like this so far. So I think if you're looking at these particular numbers, he's going to cool down at some point. But right now, there's not a question in my mind that he's a better option on a lot of nights than Alec Bohm. Now, he's not going to come up and start in front of Bohm because Bohm is their former top 5 draft pick, and they're hoping to get him going. But believe me, they're looking at right now. The Phillies are looking at him and being like, all right, like Topper Rob Thompson was asked about his chances of playing in left field, and he said he's probably an average defender in left field. Weston Wilson is also back, so they don't necessarily need a right-handed bat, and Castellanos is a right-handed bat. So for me, this is the guy that stays in AAA. And Tyler, I'll just say this right now. If he continues to hit, not at this clip, but if he continues to hit the way he's hitting, the Phillies were interested in moving Alec Bohm this offseason. They just couldn't get what they were looking for out of him. They may be looking for less if Kemp continues to hit the way he's hitting, kind of just to move on from Bohm. Now that if you're doing a trade deadline deal, you might be like, all right, you know what? It's worth it for this reliever that's a really good reliever in the final year of his contract. I think Kemp continues to hit like this. It's going to be hard to keep him off the major league roster, and the Phillies might be more willing to move Alec Bohm at the trade deadline for less than they were looking for last offseason.
Yeah, I think obviously the first thing that the Phillies have to do is put Kemp on the 40, right? If they're looking to put him on the major league roster, he has to get on the 40. It's not like there's a couple of guys towards the bottom portion of the 40 that I don't think they're going to be overly bummed if they end up losing, because of waivers. There's a couple of, relievers, like fringe starter type of guys that I think that they would not be like dreadfully mad at if they lost. But I think that's the first part of it, is who ends up off the 40 in that situation. You also, if you do end up DFAing Hernandez, as you brought up earlier, that could theoretically open up a roster spot if somebody were to claim, or a 40-man roster spot if somebody were to claim him. There's potential to add a player in the next couple of weeks or so, and even into, closer to the trade deadline. I would be interested to see, what they view his glove. As you brought up, kind of an average defender. I'd be interested to see how they view his glove, because I think the one thing Alec Bohm has done really well over the last couple of years is make himself a serviceable defender. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he's a Gold Glover. I don't think he's even good. But I think he's become a serviceable defender at third base, where at the beginning of his career, he was not. He was a below average third baseman. So I think they're going to have to take that into consideration. I think they're going to take into consideration, Kemp being, as you brought up, he's a mid-20s prospect in terms of age. He's 26 or 27. How does he translate to the next level? As to, is this he's a quad A type player? Is he truly a major league player? I think there's a lot of questions about this guy still, that I think the flashiness of what he's done in the first month of the season in Lehigh Valley piques a lot of people's interest, and rightfully so. It looks like the kid can hit. I'd be curious to see what he could do at the major league level. I would love to find a way to get his bat on the bench for a little bit, just to give him a taste of the major leagues. But I don't know if that's I don't know where that would happen. As you brought up with
injury.
It would have to be via injury.
Yep, injury. So he will be 26 in September. He's 25. He'll be 26 in September. So it's not like that. This isn't a case where it's like you slow play it because there's not a spot for him to play right now.
Right.
But so a lot of times these situations take care of themselves. Like something happens to Weston Wilson or Bohm or whatever, but just keep an eye on this. I do. Part of me also, Tyler, the year Scott Kingery had in Double-A with Reading, and then he went up to Triple-A the next year. People looked at him as a power hitter because of the number of home runs he was launching. That was probably the worst thing for Scott Kingery's career, was hitting all those home runs, because he was not going to be a home run hitter in the majors. He just wasn't big enough. And then we saw what happened when he came up here, and he was a little bit older too. Scott Kingery is a little bit of an older prospect. Kemp to me feels a little bit different than that, and he also has a really cool just a mustache, like a Don Mattingly 80s mustache, and he wears it well. He pulls it off, right? You would agree with that? It works for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the look that I would be able to pull off, but yeah, I think it's I think it looks all right on him. I'm not gonna lie.
Is it realistic to bench Alec Bohm at any point before maybe September or something like that? I mean, listen, I for the most part have been pretty supportive of Alec Bohm. I even, when he was going through the struggles and everybody wanted him sent to the minors, I was like, listen, dude's going to be all right. Like, let's not go crazy. He's still like, he's proven he can hit a little bit in the majors. Well, I mean, he has no home runs and he's playing the corner. He's playing a corner infield position. 127 at bats. He has no home runs. 128 at bats. Kemp has 10 home runs.
So the only thing that I don't take a ton, and I understand it's like the theory of the game, right? It's like more theory than practice. And maybe it is practice a little bit based on the history of the game. I don't necessarily need a specific position to do a specific thing. I need guys to do a thing in the lineup, meaning like I know the third base and first base and corner outfield spots, especially right field, have been your typical power bat spots. And that's just kind of what's expected over the last, let's say, probably 25-ish years or so, just to be fair. I don't necessarily need that to be the case if it could be offset by maybe my left fielder being a power bat or my catcher being a power. You know what I mean? I just need 2 or 3 power bats in the lineup. It doesn't necessarily have to be from a specific position, because Bryce Harper's doing it at first. Kyle Schwarber's doing it at DH. Castellanos has pop as a right fielder. Kepler's got a little bit of pop as the left fielder. Like, that can offset the fact that your third baseman doesn't hit a lot of home runs. But the productivity is more important to me. Like last year, he was a gaps hitter. And that was what his calling card was. And that's kind of what his calling card has been throughout his professional career, is being a gaps hitter, being a guy who hits close to 40 doubles. If he hits 275 or 280 with 40 doubles, drives in somewhere between 85 and 100 as a middle of the lineup guy, somewhere between the 3 and the 6 spot. Now he's a little bit further down now, but that to me was a win. And I as long as the power gets offset from somewhere else. I think right now you're seeing a guy who's hitting the ball much better over the last 3 weeks or so than he did the atrocious start to the beginning of the year. I understand that people are just going to look at the box score and say he's hitting 220 something, and that's not enough. And they're right. It's not enough over the course of 162 games. But the fact that he's risen his average from 140 something to 220 something gives me pause, at least, that he's heading in the right direction.
His 4 walks on the season, 6 extra base hits, 5 doubles, and a triple. I mean, Tyler, I'm just telling you, man. I'm getting really impatient. I need to start seeing something. This guy drives me crazy as it is. I mean, yesterday he did. Yes, like defensively, if he's adequate, that's fine. He's not going to be ever going to be a plus defender. Neither is Otto Kemp, but I'm just not seeing much right now, man.
Yeah, I totally understand your frustrations, and I think what is frustrating people on top of the at times lack of production is twofold. I think they're tired of the helmet slamming and the bat slamming stuff. They're just getting really frustrated with the fact that he's, still been a little bit immature at times. And B, I think the other thing too is the approach, right? And Alec Bohm has always said, I am a guy who likes to first pitch swing. If I get a pitch within my wheelhouse, I'm going to go after it. And I think that's fine, because Nick Castellanos is the same way, right? And he's done a good job this year of seeing more pitches, but Alec Bohm feels like it's a very hard-headed case of, I'm going to do what's best for me, even if it doesn't match, results don't match it. So I think with him, he's one of those guys that always sees amongst the fewest amount of pitches in all of baseball. It's about productivity when you're doing. If you're going to first pitch dig, like you saw yesterday, he went first pitch swinging, dropped the ball in the center field, drove a run in. That's where you take the productivity. The problem is when you first pitch ground into a double play or first pitch pop up, that's where people get frustrated. It's like, dude, you're trying to build a rally here, and now all of a sudden you just wipe the leadoff hitter in one pitch.
Yeah,
I think that's the frustration that a lot of people are having.
I'm over it. All right, coming up, big final segment here. BetParx Parlay of the day, can you just make the picks today, Tyler? I am of low confidence right now in my picks, but we got to do it. BetParx Parlay of the day coming up. James Harden returned to the NBA. He did. Game 7, James Harden. More on that, the Delco Pooper, and some other stuff here for the final segment of the show. Some really good sides. So that's coming up. Philly. John Marks. Don't go anywhere. All right, listen. Low prices are blooming. So spring into savings at Ashley, up to 50% off living rooms, bedrooms, dining rooms, and have it delivered for free. That's right. And long-term, no-interest financing. You're saving on top brand mattresses. That's with free delivery, setup, and removal. But don't wait. Spring into savings now at Ashley, South Jersey, and Philadelphia. Financings with approved credit. Minimum purchase required. Some exclusions may apply. See store for complete details. Hurry to Ashley. Visit ashleyfurniture.com for more information. And how about this? PHLY is partnering with Ashley to host the Ashley Fan Cave Sweepstakes to give one lucky participant a chance to win a brand new Mod Max modular sectional. Say that fast 5 times in a row. To watch the next big game. Plus an additional $1,000 Visa gift card to bring your dream fan cave to life. So for that, here's what you do. Go to allphly.com/Ashley. allphly.com/Ashley. Hooah! All right, Glad Hair Restoration. I have the hat on today because the hair's getting a little bit longer. I need to get the freshie. Need to head up the razor bar one day this week because the hair's too good not for it to look good. It is. The hair, it looks good. So it should look Glad Hair Restoration. So if you're starting to lose your hair, if you're losing your hair, if you're like, you know what, I'm pretty much bald, Glad Hair Restoration has something for you. All stages of hair loss. So you're just starting to recede. You're like, damn, I don't like where this is going. Take a look at your old driver's license picture, compare it, and you'll be like, holy crap, look how much hair I lost. How about we eliminate that? Let's stop that. Glad Hair Restoration. Their website, gladhairmm.com. The most experience and the most success when it comes to hair in Philadelphia. 30 years. The hair team, Glad Hair Restoration, 30 years of industry experience. It's all they do is hair. So why wouldn't you go to the experts? That's Glad Hair Restoration. All right. So I had hair restoration. And now I'm in the maintenance phase of it. I don't want to lose any more hair. And that's what they got for you. So if you're losing a little bit of hair, you don't want to get worse, Glad Hair Restoration. If you want to get the restoration because you need hair like I did, Glad Hair Restoration. You can text or call them. 610-980-4000. Text them right now. Call them right now. 610-980-4000. The website, gladhairmm.com. Hooah! All right, we're back. We'll get to the BetParx Parlay of the day coming up in a second. Yesterday, I was doing my Sunday workout. So every Sunday at 9:45, I go to Orange Theory Fitness, OTF as they call it in the business, up in Collegeville, and I do my workout. And it's a grueling workout. I enjoy it very, very much. It's awesome. So yesterday, I'm on the treadmill, and there's 3 stations to the workout I do. There's you lift, you row, and you're on the treadmill. It's broken up three in all 3. You do whatever it is, 14 minutes, 15 minutes, 16 minutes in each. So I'm running really fast on the treadmill because it's an all out. And I hate running, but I like doing this because you'll run as fast as you can for a minute, and then you walk for 30 seconds, and then you sprint for a minute. So I'm sprinting on 10 on the treadmill. And I'm and I smashed the finger on my left hand, my pinky, on the side of the treadmill. And it hurt. It didn't hurt that bad. It hurt. And I looked down, and Tyler, my pinky was going this way. I totally popped it out of the joint. And I looked down, and I'm like, oh! And it's facing, I don't know, it was facing this way. So I very quickly and easily popped it back into place while still sprinting on the treadmill. It's never happened to me. I've dislocated my finger before, but I broke it. This was 25 years ago. I've never dislocated it before. It literally, and I felt it pop back into place. And I'm like, holy crap. I can't believe that just happened. But, today, now I can barely move it because it was, but yeah, it was oh my God, it was the weirdest thing ever that it popped out that easily.
Yeah, that's got to be kind of a strange sense, especially when you're trying to like full on sprint like that. You're like, oh, okay, I think I just may have busted my finger up real quick. Let me just snap it back into place real quick. Oh yeah, we're good.
It went back in so easily, like a kid's toy that, and you know this now, that's like kind of out of joint. You just pop it back in and it's fine. I've never had to do it before. So everything was good. Everything was good. All right, parlay coming up in a second. I saw Dan Orlovsky actually put this up this morning, and he's completely correct. It's about breakfast sandwiches. Dan Orlovsky says breakfast sandwiches should not be made with scrambled eggs, fried eggs only. Also, sausage patties and not links. Thank you, Dan. Well, I would tend to agree. And listen, if you want scrambled eggs with your breakfast sandwich, that's totally fine. But the standard breakfast sandwich, if you don't specifically ask for it, is a fried egg and a sausage patty, unless you're asking for, and I think this is where Dan's missing the idea of sausage links, but you split them. And when you split them, you cook them well done because you get a sausage press. Like I used to work at a making breakfast for a long time at Luigi's in Willow Grove Park Mall. So you slice the sausage down the middle, you split it, you put it down, you get the sausage press, you put a little water underneath it, bam, you put it, and that's going to be much better than a sausage patty. But I would say a standard sausage, egg, and cheese comes with a fried egg and a sausage patty and a slice of American cheese. And that's a little bit of ketchup on top, bam, you're good. Now, I would say if you're asking for a breakfast sandwich and you don't mention anything, a standard breakfast sandwich is a bacon, egg, and cheese, right? I like it on a bagel. Normally on a toast is fine as well. An English muffin would be my preferred destination for a breakfast sandwich. It's versatile. You can put it on a roll as well, a little bit of butter on that roll. And the key, and I made an egg sandwich for my daughter this morning, is once the bread comes out of the toaster, you have to get the butter on it immediately. This is actually standard for toast in general. There's nothing more aggravating to me than when you go to a place for breakfast and they bring out toast that's not buttered, and then they have rock hard butter packets or just regular butter packets. The key to good buttered toast is getting the butter when the toast is still hot, so it gets in the nooks and the crannies and it melts in. You have to butter it immediately. So like this morning, egg and cheese, got the toast out, butter right on there. It seeps in, butter immediately. And if you go to a place that's giving you butter packets, then you're going to the wrong place. That's all I'm saying. Tyler Zulli, what's your preferred breakfast sandwich? You going bacon, egg, and cheese? You going sausage? What do you got?
No, so I don't think you and I have ever talked about this before, and we could probably do a 100-minute lecture on this. I hate bacon. I think it's disgusting. I know people think that that's insane. I think it's awful. However, my preferred breakfast sandwich of choice, to me, the elite breakfast meat of choice is pork roll. Pork roll, egg, and cheese.
See, I don't like it on eggs. I like it as a side. I love pork roll. A little bit well done, tailored pork roll.
Do it on a sandwich.
Yeah, I mean, I'll eat it on a sandwich. I like it. So, all right, preferred breakfast. If you're asking me right now, like, Marks, what do you want? What's your breakfast order? And I actually went out to breakfast yesterday. I had a really good sausage and cheese omelet. Really, really good. I go 2 eggs over medium, home fries or hash browns, pork roll well done, and wheat toast. Bam! And then the egg yolk's running everywhere. You can dip the pork roll in the egg yolk and then put it on top of the hash brown and then put some ketchup in there. Oh, my God. Woo!
Yeah, I think the omelet is if you can have the chance to sit down. Like, I think the breakfast sandwich is great when you're on the go. If you've got the chance to sit down and eat, you got to go with the omelet.
Oh, man. It was so good, too. Some ketchup on top. All right, there you go. All right, well, I've waited as long as we can for the BetParx Parlay of the day. All right, can we subcontract out these picks right now, Tyler Zulli? I don't even want to look and see what our
I already did. Our picks are. I already did. He won on Friday, so I went back to him again today.
Andrew Frazier, the producer of the Anthony Gargano Show, has been nailing his soccer picks. All right, well, what do we got? Hold on. Let me do it real time here, as we always do. Come on, BetParx. Load. All right. So what do we got?
All right. Well, it worked on Friday. It was a shot in the dark, but it worked. I'm going back to it. I am going back to the Premier League, and I am going to go to the one game that's being played today. It is Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace. And both of these teams have given up about 1.7-ish goals per game and scored about 1.5 per game this season as well. So to me, it feels like a good play to say that, yes, both teams are going to score in this one. You can get that at minus 139. I think I lean Nottingham to win this game because they need it in the standings to stay atop the Champions League standings at 60 points. But I'm going to stay away from that for now just because they haven't played particularly well as of late. I'm going to say both teams score in this one, minus 139.
All right, there you go. That's a good one. I'm going to the NBA playoffs as we got started last night. Indiana beats Cleveland. The Warriors actually close out their series, Game 7. It's been a good playoff so far, for sure. Knicks and Celtics is the early game, and then the Nuggets at OKC. OKC is a 9.5-point favorite over Denver. I saw after they won the game, they won Game 7 against the Clippers. More on that in a second with James Harden. But I saw a lot of like, this is why we did it. This is why we fired the GM and the coach. We would have never won this series if we didn't do that. And like, okay, I'm not going to dispute that or disagree with that. It doesn't mean that this team isn't flawed. And OKC has rolled through the regular season. Now you may say, okay, but also like, they've also been sitting around. Denver just played. I don't care. I'm taking OKC to cover the 9.5 points. So I'll take Oklahoma City Game 1 against the Nuggets, a tired Nuggets team, minus 9.5. So let's do that. That's going to pay us. Come on now. That's going to pay us $230. So let's put $250 to win 115 there, Tyler Zulli. 115 is the number to win that one. All right.
Okay.
All right. There we go. That's our BetParx parlay of the day.
We got to get one at some point, right?
No, we were so good for a while, man. We did it for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, 0 for 5 this past week. Now, granted, it's not like we were not getting anything. You won a couple and I didn't win, and then Friday I won and you didn't win. We can't get our combo together. That's the problem with the parlay. Obviously, you have to win both sides.
We're not playing. We're not betting complimentary. We're not doing complimentary betting right now. Unfortunately, we're not. All right, James Harden, game 7. Was anybody surprised? They lost by 19. They were almost down 30 in the. Was it early in the third quarter when I checked in, or in the second quarter? But Harden did exactly what he normally does, which is not show up in a Game 7. And not only that, he left without talking to the media. So in 3 of the losses in the series, he took off and he didn't talk to the media. Now, you're obligated, not only as a man, I believe, and as a professional, it makes a lot of money, but you're actually obligated by the league to speak after losses. And he couldn't even do it. He took 8 shots in Game 7. This was always my complaint about James Harden, was what do you do in big games? And in big games, if you shoot 2 for 28, I'd rather have you going down shooting than take 8 freaking shots in a Game 7. He had 7 points in Game 7. Oh, he had 13 assists. Dude, you can have 13 assists. You can't shoot the ball 8 times. Like, give me a break. So nobody should be surprised at James Harden's performance. And the fact that he's not answering and he's not facing the media and facing fans and facing dude's made a ton of money in the NBA. Yeah, bro. Give me a break. So Clippers are eliminated. Denver moves on, and James Harden is James Harden. The last thing here, I guess we have to talk about this. I don't really want to, but this chick that took so with me, I know that women use the bathroom like men. I don't need to have open conversations about it. Like, I just more or less want to like, they're going to use the bathroom. They're going to go number 2. We don't need to talk about it. I don't need the door left open. I've been married to my wife for 10 years. We've been together almost 15 years. She closes the door I close my door when we have to do the business. All right. Like, I'm not brushing my teeth while she's on the throne or anything. Right. Like, I don't need to talk about stuff like that. Right. So this friggin' chick, and we're not going to show the video because I don't want to see it, but this Delco chick in a road rage incident that decides she's going to go and she's going to drop it. And like, oh my God, man. Anyway, so she got let out and they arrested her. They didn't even put her hands behind her back. What the frick was up with that? They arrested her. The Delco, I'll just say Delco police. I think she's from Ridley Park, but she got caught and they came and they arrested her. And, you know, like people are shooting video and things like that. It's probably her mom or somebody that's in the background that's like, "Oh, don't you have anything better to do? Yeah." Or whatever. It's like, whose first instinct? Because she had said that she wanted to punch her, but instead she squirted diarrhea all over the hood. Whose first instinct is to do that? And here's one thing that you'll never hear. Tyler, you know how we like to complain in Philadelphia as Philadelphia sports fans? We like to say, nobody likes us and we don't care.
Correct.
We actually do care.
Oh, we care very much.
A lot. We care. We care.
Yeah, there's no question about it. We care a lot.
A lot of things are said about people from Delaware County. Have you ever heard anybody from Delco say that's not true or that's embellished or it's exaggerated? Never, ever. They just smile and nod their head and say yes.
No, the only thing about Delco that gets embellished is the accent, right? People take the accent and run with it, and they think they go as like hoagie mouth as they possibly can. But it's funny. We always tell stories about Florida Man, right? We always talk about like, did Florida Man do this? I think there's merit to say like, did somebody from Delco do this too?
Right. No, it's true. Absolutely. I actually have a segment that at some point we'll probably do called Delco or Del No. And I give a sample story and you have to decide whether or not it happened in Delco or it didn't happen in Delco. And this is one of these cases right there. I like quick story. I have I don't know if I told this. I don't think I told this on the air, but my sister-in-law has a friend who they taught together and she's as Delco as this chick. Something happened on like a bachelorette party weekend or whatever, because my wife told me the story of this Delco teacher threatened to take a dump on somebody's car if they continued to do what they were doing. And my wife, who's from Delaware County, was like, that was the oddest thing I ever heard somebody threaten with. And I'm like, well, she is from Lower Delco, so it does make sense that she would do. And like 5 years later, it wasn't her that did it, but a Delco chick did it. And by the way, isn't even stuttering about it. She's just like, yeah, I did it.
And that's what, like what you just said at the beginning of talking about this is like, how far down on the list of things that run through your head in that scenario do you have to go to get to, let me do what I just did and go poop on somebody's car? Like how far down do you have to go on that? Like you said, nah. Like you're thinking about, all right, I'm going to get in trouble if I do this. I'm not fighting somebody. You're like, all right, let me go and do this.
And by the way, if you're watching on all PHLY, if you're watching on TV, slide on over to allphly.com because we're in the overtime. Go over this with me. More likely you taking a baseball bat and smashing somebody's hood, or you doing what that Delco chick did?
I mean, they're both really low on the list, right? But
but I would say baseball bat.
Yeah, well, I think the what she did, it just doesn't come to mind, right? Like that's the whole thing I'm kind of getting at is like that is not something I would think about.
That's the instinct. So she's holding back, and I mean, it was obvious it wasn't solid. I don't know if she was having Raisin Bran for breakfast, lunch. I don't know what's going on. But if you're trying to get home and then there's a road rage incident, even then, outside of you were about to have to go in your pants anyway, so let me go do this. I'm not road rage guy. When somebody pisses me off when I'm driving, I just look straight ahead and I scream. I don't look at them. I don't point. I don't give the finger or anything else. I'll just yell to myself. There's a better chance of me getting a sledgehammer and smashing somebody's window than running out of a car and taking a dump on their hood.
So our buddy Pat Egan has actually turned me on to this, and it works because people are so like dumbfounded that you do it. So you brought up, you flip them off, right? If you flip somebody off, the likely response is they're going to get mad back at you, right? So Pat Egan turned me on to this, where he started, instead of flipping people off, he started giving them the thumbs down. And you give them the thumbs down, and people are like,
That's
what?
a good idea.
What? Like, you know what I mean? Because it's not a reaction you expect. It's not aggressive.
Yeah,
it's not crude, it's not violent. But so you get to a point where you're like, did that guy just give me a thumbs down? And it almost de-escalates the situation.
It's taken differently.
Right.
You know what? That might be the best thing Pat Egan's ever said. Wow.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant, because it's not any of those things, and you just get you get your point across without without escalating anything further.
You're almost humbled into like, oh man, am I being a dick? Am I in the wrong here? Right? Yeah, like you feel bad. You're like, oh man, that give me the thumbs down. Like I must be out of line. Let me rethink this. You give them the finger, you might get someone shooting at you, which is why I'll never give the finger. I don't look at anybody. Believe me, I've been in the car where people, I've never had a gun pointed at me, but I've looked over on 76 and this person's literally hanging out of the car, fucking screaming at me. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have cursed there. But yeah, like I didn't even know anything happened. I don't know what I did. I must have cut him eye. Like, I don't know. I didn't know what happened. I'm like, oh my God, what is that? But yeah, I've had somebody on 76 in the morning when I was driving to work, back when I used to work mornings, stop their car on 76 in the left-hand lane and start to get out of the car towards me when I was directly behind them with nobody else on the road. And I quickly pivoted around as he started chasing my car. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on here? The thumbs down, huh?
Yeah, thumbs down. Yep. And by the way, I think you might be all right. We're in overtime now, so I think we're good.
Okay. All right. We're back tomorrow. We'll be back in studio tomorrow. Slide on over to Ant. He is live right now. Shout out to everybody watching live on YouTube. We'll check everybody again tomorrow. And remember, audio only podcast. So if you're a YouTube viewer and you don't get to watch every day because of your schedule, if you're in the car, search Philly with John Marks and get the audio only podcast. And you'll have lots of fun with us listening to the podcast. We appreciate you. We're back tomorrow live at 8 a.m. We'll talk to you then. See you.
We all silly like the mayor.